Hello, this is Christy. In today's video tutorial on Camtasia, I would like to show you a little trick on how to make objects go in a circle. If you look in the Camtasia Animations library or Behaviors library, there is no such motion. You can of course rotate objects, so if you place an object on your scene, you can use a animation that will rotate the object around the axis, but it won't actually move the object in a circle shape. And there is also in Camtasia no shape animation, so you can't actually draw a shape and move the object along that shape. So this is a cool trick to make an object go in a circle. If you need to make such an effect or use it for some animation you would like to move the object in a circle, this is a tutorial for you. And I would like to keep it simple and show you how to do it step by step. If we start by going to annotations, and let's use a circle as a guide because we want to have a guide to animate our objects along. So go to the annotations, go to shapes, and if you don't see the circle here, go to the style and select all. And this will show you all of the shapes you can use. And here is a circle. I have it as a favorite as well. So you can just drag this onto your scene. It helps to have the snapping on, so just place this in the center of your canvas. It doesn't matter where you place it. And if you hold down Control and Shift key and drag the corner, you're going to increase the size. So let's make it around this large and like this. So it'll keep it in the middle and then make it large. And for this tutorial, because I'm just going to use this as a guide, I want to make it sort of a faded color. I don't want it to be very visible. We will remove this at the end anyway because we don't need it for the final animation. So this is our guide circle. Now let's make this longer on the timeline, and I'm going to zoom in, Control and mouse wheel. So I have seconds here, and I think I'm going to make my animation about 6 seconds. So I'm just going to pull this back here to around the 6-second mark. So if I press space, I'm going to see this is the animation that's going to be moving my circle, my object in a circle. So if you want to make it longer, it's your choice. Just one thing to note, you will need to sort of divide this in equal parts for the first part of the animation. So I'm going to show you why. So you're going to have to do it half and half first. So this is my guide. You can double click on the track header to change the name of the track if you want to keep things organized. I'm going to just rename this guide so that I know what it is. And now let's proceed to create the circle animation. Now this might be a bit of a trick, so just pay attention. It's actually a combination of two animations. So the first one, I'm going to take another circle. So I'm going to use a circle to move it around in a circle, right? So just put the circle on a new track here, and again make it sort of as long as the other shape, and let's call this one clip. So this will be our animated clip, the object we will animate in a circle. So what we want to do is we want to make this circle move in a circle fashion like this. Now, as I said, there is no circle animation in Camtasia, so we will have to make our own. And you will see that at the end you can actually swap this out with one of your clips, and you can also save this animation in your library as a placeholder, and then you just drop it into your timeline and you replace it with an actual video clip, and then that video clip is going to move in a circle. So let's proceed. I'm going to start at the top. So the first part, we will just move the playhead at the very start of the animation. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and we will place this circle at the top of the other circle, right? So that will be our point of origin. So it helps to have the snapping turned on because then you know exactly. So see, look, horizontally, this is going to be now in the middle, and then if you move it up, it's going to be the center of our circle is going to be at the edge of the other circle. So this helps us to place objects exactly where we want them to be. Now, the first part of the animation is going to have to move. We will move our object up and down again. So we will need two animations, one to make the object go all the way down to the bottom, and then another animation to go to the top again. So no problem, let's go to the animations, and then we will use this custom animation. Don't use any of these because these are useless for our project. Just use the custom animation, drag it onto your object, and let's move the finish point, the end keyframe of our animation to sort of the middle. So the beginning of the animation is going to be at the start of the clip. If it isn't, you can move this left and right so until it snaps to the start of the clip. That is all point of origin. And now move the head of this animation arrow to around the 3-second mark. If you need, you can actually add a marker here so that your animation snaps into place. But in my case, I'm just looking at the play head here and I'm placing this in the half of the 6-second animation, right? And now what I want my animation to do is to move my circle to the bottom. So again, it very much helps if you have your snapping on, and let's place this at the very bottom again. You see the guiding lines, they help you to place the object at the bottom. Now, the second part of the animation, again 3 seconds, we want it to go back to the top, right? So we will drag another custom animation, drag it here again, stick the starting of the animation to the end of the previous one. Camtasia won't let you put this animation further to the left, so it's going to stop where the other one stops. So it's going to stop there, and then this final point of the animation, again move it to the 3-second duration, so that in our case it's going to be at the 6-second mark. So and again, of course, for this part of the animation we want to make our circle go back up. Okay, so we will move it up the top, put the snapping in place, boom, there is your object. So let's review now what our animation is doing. Play. And you will see it stops at the bottom and bounces back up. Now, the key for this bouncing motion, so you see it slows down at the end and then speeds up again and slows down at the end again. So this is kind of like a physics simulation. You can change this by going to right-clicking on the animation arrow and clicking on Enable Easing. So let me just move this window up so you can see it. I'm going to resize my window. Okay, for a second. So right click on the animation arrow and go to Enable Easing, and by default it's auto, but you can do exponential in and out. Same thing for the other arrow, Enable Easing, exponential in and out. So let's put the window back down now. Okay, now let's see how our animation is working. So exponential, speeding up and then slowing down, and speeding up again and slowing down. So that is our bouncy animation first. So this is easy to create a bouncy sort of in the middle of the circle here. That's going to be your sort of the fastest point. Now, how do we make this go into a circle? Well, that's the clever trick. So I'm going to select my shape, this clip. Okay, so in Camtasia, as you've seen, you cannot put multiple animations to an object at the same time in the same place. So I can't actually drag another animation and place it here while this other animation is already doing its thing, right? So I can't do that. So the solution for that is to actually put this clip into a group, right? So then we can animate the group with the other part of the animation that we need to make our circle movement, right? So I'm going to click on this clip, the shape that I'm animating, and right click on it, and you can say group or press Ctrl G. Okay, so that made it into a group. Let's call it circle here, circle. Okay, just that doesn't really matter. So if I open this group, you will see that inside there is my clip with the animation I've just created. But the advantage now is that I can actually make other animations on my group and move the group in different directions. So what I'm going to do actually now, I'm going to need 3 animations, not 2. The reason for that is what I want to happen is, of course, my circle is still moving up and down, and you can see now that the group is highlighted. When it's selected, it's showing me the boundaries of my group. So my clip is up and down. This is the maximum, and then the top. So what I want to do is, when my my circle is here in the halfway down, it also needs to be on the right, okay? Because that's, you know, that's the edge of the circle. So I'm really animating it along the corners. And the way that I do it is basically just go, move the cursor, and then when it reaches sort of the halfway point, I'm going to stop dragging and take another custom animation and add it to my circle, to my group now. So I'm adding another animation to the group. I am leaving the starting point again at the beginning, but I'm moving my tip of the arrow here to where my animation. So you can just watch your animation on the screen, and you stop with your animation sort of when the circle is halfway down. And in this point, release your mouse. In this point, you move this circle to the right. So we are moving the entire group. Notice the snapping is so helpful. Moving the entire group to the edge of the bottom, to the circle in the background. So now my circle is here. Let's see what we've done. Here we go. You notice that how my circle is moving roughly along the outline of the group. Now, there's another tweak you can do. Right clicking on the arrow, again changing the easing. So let me just pull this up so I can show you. Right click on this and change the easing to, again, exponential in and out. So that ensures that the speeding up and the slowing down of the animation is going to happen where it needs to be. So you can hardly notice that it's actually doesn't actually move in a perfect circle, but it's almost unnoticeable how it's moving to the outline, along the outline of the circle. But we're not finished yet. So we are going to be at this point, and now we want to animate further. And I'm not actually going to animate 4 corners. So I'm not going to go all the way down here and move the circle to the middle of the circle. I'm actually going to animate the entire part where the circle goes back up. So I'm just going to need to animate from here to here, right to left, and move it here, because my initial animation takes care of moving the circle down all the way and bringing it back up. So what I'm actually going to do is just move the cursor down here, drag another custom animation, make sure this animation starts where the previous one stops, and then pull the end of this animation to the point where the circle is all again halfway up. Yes, so this is where my horizontal animation is going to stop. So again, here with this selected dot, make sure this dot is selected with the playhead inside of it. So to make sure that that's the keyframe we're changing, move this object to all the way to the left here. Again, use the snapping to put it all back into place. And there we go. And right click on this, enable easing, and make sure it's exponential in and out. And now for the final leg of the journey, we will drag another custom animation at the end. Make sure it starts exactly where the other one stops, and pull it all the way to the 6-second mark. So if you don't see the 6-second mark, just watch the timeline timestamp here. So just move it until you get to the 6-second mark here. And you notice my shape is already back at the top. All I need now is to just put it into place back where it started. If you need to move it up and down a bit, maybe do that. If not, 6 seconds, that's where the previous animation stops. And again, right click on this, enable easing, and here we go. Now let's see if we manage to make this object spin, go in a circle, not spin, but move in a circle. So let's see, play, it goes right, left, all the bottom, and all the way back up. So there you go. The only imperfection with this is, if you notice, at close to the start and the stop, so the beginning, it doesn't actually go, it should actually go right for a second and then start going down. Instead of that, it's actually going slightly down, and then the corners, the other edges are working fine except the very end. This is because of the movement, the initial movement. It starts going down right away. You can probably try and tweak this easing on this other one. Maybe try and choose linear on both of them instead of exponential in and out. See how that works. That's even worse. You notice it goes down a lot and then goes to the right. So that is obviously not good. Camtasia doesn't allow you to change the in and out points of your animation, the easing, because if it did, then it would be very easy to do like you used to be able to do in Flash. If you remember Macromedia or Adobe Flash, it used to allow you to control the easing for in and the easing for out points. So then we could have done an easing out and an easing in here separately, instead of just calculating it sort of halfway through the animation. So this is a bit of a trick, but I mean, if you're using this on one of your projects, I doubt that your viewers are going to notice that it's actually not going in a perfect circle, specifically if, look what we're doing now, we are removing the guide circle, right? So I'm just going to click on the initial shape at the bottom and delete that one. So you can't see the guide shape now. So if we play this again, you can see it's actually going in a circle. You can see it's slowing down at various places, but it's actually moving in a circle. So that's quite nice. If you do it faster, there is really no time to notice what it's doing. So there you go. You have made this shape go in a circle. Now let's try and replace this with another clip. So you would normally put this in your library. If you want to reuse this effect, you would normally put it in your library by right-clicking the entire group here, circle, and you right-click and you say add to library like this. Before you do that, you can actually go in, open the group, and right-click on your circle shape and say to that, convert to placeholder. So that's going to allow you to replace this automatically with another clip later, and then add this whole ensemble to your library, right? So then you just bring it from your library, drag it onto your timeline, then you drag another clip on top of the placeholder, and it just replaces it. But for today, I'm actually going to go to Media, and I'm going to just drag another video clip in here. It's my classic driving video. And what you can do is, this is a new thing in Camtasia. You can actually go to your timeline, select your clip, select the clip you want to replace. In our case, the shape, the circle shape, select it, and then go to the media bin where you dragged your video, right click on it and say replace selected media on timeline. Now again, it's off screen, so I'm just gonna have to pull my screen in here so you can see what's happening. Right click on this driving video and then say replace selected media on timeline, and then you can see replace from start, or you know, depending on how long it is. I'm just going to say replace from start like this. Okay, let me just make the window back like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to right click on this and silence the audio because I don't want to play this sound. So let's see what my clip is doing here. It's moving in a circle, just like the other shape. So this is a new feature in Camtasia 2020 where you can replace a clip from the timeline with something you have in your media bin. So there you go, there you have it. My clip is moving in a circle. Now it might be a little small, so you can either scale this group, or you know, go to the end every keyframe point and make it larger. One downside in Camtasia is that if you're trying to go inside of this group, and you open the group and you go to various places, because that clip is in your group, it's going to crop it to the group. So that's not a good feature. I don't know why they are doing this. I certainly didn't select an alpha for this, but that's what it's doing. So it's cropping your clip to the group it's in. So if you need to do this for, your clip needs to be larger, it's probably a good idea to start off with the actual clip you're trying to animate and perform all of these animations so that you spin it, you move it in a circle at the desired size instead of having to resize it afterwards, because then it's going to be confined to this group, which is really a bummer. So you can see that it's now animated, but it's also cropping the video to the group. So that's I don't know, maybe they're going to change this later. So if I wanted to crop this, I should have just used a track matte with an alpha, but instead they're just putting it inside of the group. So I guess that's a minus point here for Camtasia in that respect. So I hope you liked this video, and if you enjoy my Camtasia tutorials, feel free to subscribe to my channel, share it, like it, and comment. And if you have any other ideas for tutorials that you might like to see, or features you want to learn about, or tricks in Camtasia, I'd be happy to hear it. So leave your comment down below, and see you next time.